You got it.
All right, guys, do we have Luke and Brian? Or are they at?
Hey, guys. All right. Let me just make sure I got this all set for you guys. Zoom land, you guys can see us? Yeah, cool. Can you hear us okay?
Yep, we can see it and hear you.
Yay. All right, that's success. I love it. Let's see who we have. We have Brian. Okay, cool. We got Holland. Good morning, guys. All right. Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah.
Yeah? Excellent. So I want to just check in with you guys this morning. How'd your homework go? You're supposed to make 20 calls, do your cards and social media posts or reach outs, and how's everything going?
Good.
Good?
Were you guys able to make your calls? Okay, Brian's on, good, excellent.
Yep,
Luke said she said Luke's supposed to be zooming on here in just a minute.
super.
Go ahead, finish.
No, I was
I
just
mean,
checking in. Okay, so did you do the 20 calls?
Half,
Huh? Okay,
only because I was at the hospital.
okay, understood. Got it. No
Could you,
problem.
could you, here's fun. At a hospital full of people, could you have real estate conversations?
I could.
Yeah. Just
And
go in to find, say, are you gonna make it? If so.
oh my God.
Right, I thought about that, like going down the whole, while I was waiting, but then the cafe, downstairs,
Sure.
that's a good place.
So I say it jokingly, because at the
true,
hospital, it's
though.
probably not the best place to be trying to get leads, but.
Just trying to make light of the situation.
But just to think outside the box, when you're in a place, not the hospital, are there opportunities for conversations about real estate? Yes, there
Yeah.
always are. So, just don't be afraid to think about how you can get conversations out of situations.
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because nurses and stuff, they love to buy houses.
Yeah.
right? So there's plenty of people to talk to. Again, don't be awkward about it. And you want to be really careful of like doing things in places for the purpose of getting business, right? A lot of people are like, well, I'm gonna join a church and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I would say people can see through that you're joining to get business, right? So just be real careful with that, right? You don't wanna be that person. I'm real heavy in the hockey community and, I don't ever try to get business from hockey, but I am always willing to wear my Steelhead Realty hat, my Steelhead Realty jacket. I used to have a Volkswagen Beetle with all my logos on it. I park it right up front. I never go to people and say, hey, hockey friend, call me if you need to sell real estate. I passively let them know that I'm a realtor. And then just through being in the hockey community, I've gotten tons of business from hockey. Never asked for it, gotten lots of it, so. Just be conscious, business comes from all kinds of different directions, so.
All right, how about you guys online? Hi, Toby and
Tara and Toby, love it.
Hey, guys, how's it going? So, if you guys can unmute yourselves and, we'll check in with Tara and Toby. How'd last night go? How'd your calls go?
I got a new appointment.
All right. We love it, appointments are great.
Yay, we want to celebrate that. That's awesome. Great job.
And
And
I'll
how
go,
about you, Toby? How are you doing? Hello, hello.
It's probably a little bit further away from her. Can we hear okay? It looks like we might have
Turn up
froze,
the volume.
looks like it froze. Oh, no, you're with her. How
Okay,
about Brian?
Brian, how's it going?
well, it's going good. So yesterday I was able to make I think I made 15 contacts while I was in the hospital doing my VA appointments, which is
Mhm.
great because a little task management there, right? And so I think I might have one lead on selling a cabin here in Wasilla. So yeah,
Excellent.
kudos for
Great.
the little push,
Good, good. Yay, we want to celebrate that. That's fantastic.
Brian's not
Um,
afraid of the awkward.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, how about you, Holland? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yesterday I had an appointment with some folks that I'm gonna list a property, so I was at their house for 3 hours last night.
Oh, my
um,
goodness.
but the only other human I saw was dropping something off at my house, and I was able to kind of like have a little real estate chat with him, and he had a brother-in-law that was looking who I happen to know. So
Awesome.
yeah, I
Good.
didn't make 20
These
calls, but I
conversations
definitely
are
made
good.
some traction.
Good. Okay.
Before we get too far, did you guys all get introduced to Holland? Okay, so Holland is in the PC program. She's doing amazing. She came to us from Berkshire Hathaway. She felt like she wasn't quite getting enough support there. And she's come over to Keller Williams in Homer. Okay, so the reason why I want to introduce you to Holland is because Holland is new, she's hungry, she's super smart, and she's super great to work with. And there's no way in hell I'm driving to Homer. So that being said, if you guys have people that are gonna be looking for stuff in Homer, she might be a great referral partner for you guys to send people down to Homer. And then I'm sure she'd be happy to pay you a referral fee. So these are one of these people that are your contacts that you wanna be making, so that when somebody comes to you and says, hey, we're thinking about the Kenai Peninsula or Homer, you can say, I don't know nothing about the Kenai Peninsula or Homer, but Holland down there is amazing. Can I give her your number and have her reach out to help you? And then you can do a referral agreement with her, and then she gets a client and so do you, right? So keep Holland in mind. She's wonderful. I've worked real closely with Holland for a while now and she's great.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, Brian.
You're
I'll put my
welcome.
phone number in the comments if people want to. Feel free to reach out because I'm always down to
Yay.
collab.
Thank
She will
you.
jump on it.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Right to the game, and she's got lots of energy and spunk, so that's good.
Thanks, Holland.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we're gonna get rolling here. We're gonna get rolling, and Brian, do you have anything else to add?
Nope. Just
Okay.
wanna make sure Melissa introduces herself.
Yeah,
appropriately.
this is Melissa. Oh my God, let's get it.
Did you get to tell them about yourself, Melissa?
Not yet.
I love it.
Look, you read my mind, Brian.
Love it.
Hi, I'm Melissa Hernandez. I also go by Messy for my friends, and we're gonna be spending 2 hours together, so we are now friends. I started in real estate about 5 years ago. I was helping out doing some social media and then admin for a now defunct brokerage. And came over to Keller Williams 4 years ago on June 1st. So have an anniversary coming up, joined the Dar Walden team, and have been a buyer specialist for the last 4 years, working primarily with buyers to help them secure homes. However, I did start off listings. Now I am transitioning back to doing both sides. So in some ways, I feel kind of a little bit new and like a newbie in some senses as well. So right here alongside of you. Today we're going to talk about generating leads, which there's a lot of stuff out there. I think a lot of people in real estate take the perspective of like, oh, well, this is something we have to do, so we're going to power through it. This is like my favorite thing in the world. Like, you guys are new, you guys get a fresh perspective. This is the most important thing you can do to set yourself up for a successful business, and it can be fun. I have fun with it every single day, and I'm currently making 50 to 125 calls a day. So I really believe in the power of networking, of generating leads, staying in contact with them.
And by the way, Missy is not a newbie. And she's helped us in leadership capacity in the past as well, so she's being very modest. She's not fresh. She does a lot of it.
I'm not fresh to the world. I look at it. I look at it and I go, oh, this guy's not good. But
The clicker's not?
yeah.
Hmm.
She's looking.
It's wrong. Missy,
But-
can I ask you why are you in real estate? Right?
I,
What is your reason for staying in the business?
I'm gonna make that to be a little better, on screen. I am in real estate because, really I love people. I have worked a variety of careers from, interning on Capitol Hill and moving government work. I have a master's in public administration. I worked in nonprofits. I worked in high-end luxury retail, working for Coach, the handbag company. And I just like, I also worked in homeless services. And in every single one of those careers, what I loved was being face to face with a client. Whether it was selling a handbag, whether it was helping someone fill out their paperwork to get housing. And having worked in homeless services, I took that spirit of, like, my personal mission was that every Alaskan deserved a safe home. And I brought that into real estate, because I know every home that I sell on the hillside opens up a $600,000 home for someone to move into, which opens up a $400,000 home for someone to move into, which opens up a $200,000 condo for a first-time home buyer. So I just deeply believe that everyone deserves a safe and healthy home. And it's why I continue to do what I do, and then do nonprofit work on the side.
So the reason I asked that, and I'm gonna let Missy get going and get out of your way, the reason I asked that is you're gonna see a common theme with the people who have been in the business for a while. One thing that I know teaching classes and doing Ignite over and over and over and helping people in the PC program is I get two answers when I ask them, why did you get into real estate, from new agents? What do you think they are?
Money,
Money? That's number one,
I like houses.
okay? Yes, but
Remember, I
that's
used
not
to
their,
say that.
that's not their real motivation. Money? And I
Time.
want lots of time in a business that I can
Yeah.
work on my schedule,
Yeah, I can do what I want.
okay? No. And no, that's not how it is.
I got into it was because my husband and I had bought houses, a few houses and sold here and there. I remember in the beginning how hard it was when we first married and trying to figure things out. And I had a realtor who was like, let me hold your hand every step of the way. She really cared. And so I want to be able to do that for other people.
So that's what I'm gonna get to. For new people, it's money and time, money and time. I want freedom, I want this. Those are two things that you absolutely have to earn in real estate. You are not gonna start out a millionaire, although some people like Helen, who taught one of your classes for you yesterday, gets in and kills it. Sharon got in and killed it. There's a lot of people who get in and don't kill it right away. And so time is earned after your business is running to a point, and Matt's kind of in that, that's why Matt is here. That's what Matt's trying to do, is Matt has gotten to the point where he's able to close the deals. And now he's trying to figure out how to make life work well with his business, right? That's earned, right? So, and then the money is earned, because in the beginning of your business, any business that you own, the money needs to go back into the business in order to help build, right? You don't open up a restaurant and start raking in the dough. That's not how it works, right? So you gotta earn those two things. So for new people, it's money and time. When we ask our coaches that are doing these classes, why are they in it? It's always people and helping. And I told you guys this in a previous class, if it's not for people and helping, the money and the time is not gonna keep you in the business. So, that's why I wanna ask these teachers, why are they in the business? It's the same reason that Sharon's still in the business. It's the same reason that I'm still in the business. It's the same reason that you are still in business. It's the same reason that you are still in business. It's about helping people. It's about, teaching people the process of buying homes so that they can do it safely and do it again. So I just want to make sure to point that out, that you'll hear from all of our teachers that they're here to help people. And those are the people who stay. Those are the people that build a great client base, and those are the people that are able to survive in the business. So super excited for that. Okay, go ahead, Melissa.
Awesome. So as you know, these are kind of areas that Ignite will focus on. So just a reminder to become a real estate expert, lead generation, lead follow-up, and transactions. And today we start the very first lead generation module of this Ignite. So we start with the basics of generating your leads. All right, so, again, at the beginning of every Ignite, you are the lead generator. So we're gonna talk a little bit about you, your mindset, how that's gonna play in. We're gonna talk about the lead generation model. Most importantly, probably of this whole session, we're gonna talk about your sphere of influence and what that actually means, and maybe some new ways to think about that. We're also gonna talk about expanding your sphere of influence. So who are you maybe not realizing is actually part of that sphere of influence? We're also gonna talk about lead generation best practices and recap and have some ahas. And then Sharon will give you a little bit of homework on your success system challenges. Oh. All right. Will someone read me today's quote from Gary Keller?
My fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generation.
Yeah, in this business, your fear of failure has to be greater than your fear of lead generating. And I know it's early in the morning, it's 9:30, but we're just gonna jump right into like your fears. What are your fears around lead generating? And people on Zoom, mute yourself because I want to hear from you guys too. When you go to pick up that phone, what are the things that go through your head?
I'm always afraid of like feeling unauthentic or like surprising someone with like a secret agenda.
Yeah, that's a valid fear. What else?
I don't want to reach out to my friends and family. Like, I feel like when I do that, I'm reaching out to them just to be salesy, and I don't ever want to come across that way. So it makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, feeling like you might be coming off too salesy. That's a genuine fear I've had before. What else?
Mine's kind of weird because I've been in the business for 21 years. But I've had all these other things going on because like we adopted kids when I was in my 40s and I've had kind of a lot of weird stuff. So this sounds weird to say it, but I purposely, I got going and I purposely backed. Like I didn't want to tell people I was in real estate anymore, because I didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
wanted to slow the business.
I wanted to slow it up and I still kept my license, and a lot of different brokerages I've been at, the broker's like, you should just put it in referral, but I never would do it. Cause there was something in me still that knew that at some point I'm gonna do it again. So, yeah, so I purposely stopped. And I never told anybody, because I know the amount of work that it is, and I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, I did the same thing last week. I knew I was going out of town for the weekend. So I lead generated really heavy at the beginning of the week. And then on Wednesday, I was like, I'm gonna slow down because if these people need to see houses this weekend, it's gonna get hairy. So sometimes we focus our lead generation on purpose to make room for life things that come up. Any other fears?
I'm afraid I'm bothering them.
Ooh,
Yeah.
afraid I'm bothering them.
That too.
Yep. All right. So all of these fears are normal fears. Like every single real estate agent has had that exact fear and then some. As my coach says, like the mean girl in my head tells me all these things. But today we're going to talk about how to come to our SOI, how to come to our leads with that authenticity that Holland was talking about, how to talk to our friends and family in a way that we come from contribution, how to strategize to do lead generation in a way that makes sense for you and for your business and where you're at. And that really helps your clients along the way too. Because we tell ourselves all of these things, but if you got a phone call from a friend that you hadn't talked to in 2 or 3 years, who you really thought was like a darling person, would you, and you weren't busy, you know, if you're busy, you're probably gonna send them to voicemail, right? But if you weren't busy, would you pick up that phone and be excited to hear from them? Yeah. So why is it any different for any of us calling that person? And it doesn't have to be, you know, the phone call doesn't have to be about, hi, I'm in real estate now. I'm looking for anyone who's buying or selling a home. It can be a genuine conversation about them and just saying at the end, hey, just remember, if you have any real estate questions, I'm just here as a resource. If you have anyone you know who's buying a house, who's looking to sell, just know I'm here as a resource. I'd love to have a conversation with them after you've had that authentic interaction with them. All right. So the 6 core competencies of business. Number 1, surprise, surprise, is lead generate. There is a reason that it's number 1. It's going to be your number 1 track to success. That's why it's ranked so highly. And then number 2, present buyers and sellers and get agreements. Show buyers and sellers, show buyers and market sellers. So showing houses and helping getting those sellers' properties marketed and out there for others to snag up. Write and negotiate contracts. Coordinate the sale to closing and manage the money. And all of these are super important processes, but unless we start with lead generate, we can't get to number 2 or number 3 or number 4. All right, so we've got some fears and myths. So we're gonna, I'm gonna read each fear or myth, and then we're gonna do a little like mindset game. And I want you guys to rephrase this into a positive. So I think lead generation is really difficult. How could we change that up to put us in a more positive mindset to look at lead generation in the morning?
Okay, like your personality, I think lead generation is really fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's how it's my air. I get to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. Like lead generation is an opportunity for me to connect. Lead generation is really fun. The next one, I don't have time to lead generate. Maybe someone online could rephrase that into a shift to a more positive mindset. Bueller.
Or not.
I'll give you guys a minute to think about the next one and unmute you. I'll give you this one. Lead generating is important to me, so I protect my lead generation time. Would be a way to rephrase it. I don't know what to say. What can we say instead?
Hey, I'm just gonna call you myself and talk to them. Oh, like,
Yeah, I'm gonna call and be myself. That's a great one. All right, and then our last one. I'm afraid of making mistakes.
Okay, I'm gonna call you right there. Great.
On this one, I would say like, welcome to real estate. You're gonna make mistakes. So I would like to be fully authentic. For me, I would say I'm probably gonna make some mistakes, but I've got really great supports that I can go to help me navigate. And maybe I'm gonna grab a scripting partner to become stronger so that I can refine my tools so that I can learn and grow and learn from those mistakes. Because without a doubt, this is all a learning process for people who have been in the business a long time, for people who are just starting out. It is a learning process. Every transaction brings something new around the corner that we have never experienced before. All right, these are some other ones they came up with. So I think lead generation is really difficult. I was confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's just not fun. I would challenge that, Gary Keller. I think it's fun. I might be in the minority. I don't have time to lead generate. I've had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. I don't know what to say. I had to get on the path of mastering dialogue skills needed in this business. And I'm afraid of making mistakes. I found out that lead generation is nothing more than a set of tasks and skills that are well documented. All right. So we are going to start to talk about your sphere of influence, or as we in the biz call it, your SOI. Will someone maybe on Zoom tell me what your SOI is? Zoom, can you hear me? Anyone?
It's something of influence. I just can't remember the S, I think.
Yeah,
Something
your
of influence, we got close. It starts, you got the S in there
Your
with
sphere
something
of
not a good
influence.
standing.
Sphere of influence. But
Yep.
it's like, let's say I have, 150 contacts on my phone, and some of them are people that I have no idea who they are or whatever. But sphere of influence would be like folks that know that I'm trying to do this realty thing, and I check in with them to see if they have any folks that might be interested or whatever. So it's like people that are actually in my sphere, not necessarily on the opposite polar side.
Yeah, it's like you read these notes. That was a pretty darn good definition. So your sphere of influence are people who know you and may or may not, I mean, in your case, they probably know you're in real estate, but for people who are just starting out, maybe they don't know that yet. But there are people who are willing to have a two-way conversation with you. Any other notes on who your sphere of influence is or what it looks like?
Could be people like whatever, like my kids,
Mm-hmm.
the kids' parents,
Yep,
coaches, other people at the game.
yep. Sports parents that you interact with absolutely would fall in your sphere of influence. Awesome. So now we're going to do a little exercise, and it includes some math. But this is not a test. I'm not going to be checking your papers. So, and we're going to keep it pretty easy. So if everyone could pull out their phones and go to your contacts. And I don't know how to do it on an Android. So if you have an Android, I hope you know how to do it. But on an iPhone, if you go to your contacts and go to the very top, it'll give you the number of people in your phone. So I want everyone to shout out your number of contacts.
It's on the bottom on an iPhone.
It's on the bottom on an iPhone. They have updated it.
I have 204.
204.
605.
605. 1,000.
524.
524 on Zoom.
I've got
All right.
55 coming this way.
85?
955.
Okay, I was like, Toby knows more than 85 people for sure.
I have 981.
981. So we got some decent numbers here. All right, so I want you guys to write, if you've got a notebook, to write down that number. All right. Now I'm gonna read you a little something because this is some really good statistics. So according to the National Association of Realtors, the typical person moves every 8 years. And according to the 2020 census, the homeownership rate in the US is 64.8%. So if you can assume that 64.8% of your database is a homeowner, and they will move every 8 years, that means that 8.1% of your database will buy, sell, or buy and sell a home every 8 years. So you're gonna take your number of contacts and you're gonna times it by 0.081 or 8.1%. I'll give you a second or two to do that math. Okay, so then we're gonna go one step further and we're gonna talk about potential referrals. So you wanna do a great job with every one of your clients so that they come back to you the next time they need to buy or sell, or they tell a friend. So if we're being conservative, we can estimate that about 10% of them will refer you another client that year. So you're gonna take your original number and you're gonna times it by 0.1 to get the number of referrals that you can anticipate if you were to work your entire contact list. In this case, potential referrals come out to 25. So the next step is you're gonna take B and C and you're gonna add those together for line D. In this case, it's 45. For some of you, it's gonna be quite a bit more because most of the numbers I heard were a little bit higher. And then you're gonna figure out your average commission. And these are just rough numbers for you guys to use for calculation purposes. If you're on a team, average commission is probably gonna be about 5,000 per transaction. If you're an individual agent, it's gonna be roughly about 10. So factor in either 5 or 10, depending on if you're on a team or if you're an individual agent. And then lastly, you're gonna take that average commission and times it by D to get your potential income opportunity if you were to work every, the majority of people in your phone. What does that potential number come out to? I'll ask the Zoom people to share first.
Mine's 957,000.
Woo, that's pretty good.
Mine says 885,000.
And mine is 786,000.
What do we have in the room?
369,000.
750.
$1 million.
$1 million. Ooh, you got $1 million.
I'm like, did I do the math wrong? I don't think I had a high contact count.
And this is our potential opportunity, right? We know that there's, we had it pointed out, some of the contacts in our phone are the plumber that we call to fix something, but that probably is an opportunity too.
Yeah.
We can look at that as an opportunity. But there's gonna be some people in there that are not viable contacts, but this gives us an idea that there is a lot of opportunity if we tap into it. All right.
Well, even if you look at just what they use as an example,
Yeah.
and that's more than most people make in a year,
Mm-hmm.
average anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's very conservative.
Yeah. And why do you think it is that most people make less than that in a year?
Because they don't put in the effort.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a lot of realtors on my phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, is
I
that,
don't think
yeah.
they're referring a lot of business in my direction.
Yeah, the number of realtors, we gotta take out probably like 20% just from the other realtors we have in our phone. Yeah,
Or I know another big one that I experienced that, I never followed up. I wasn't looking at it like a career. I was looking at it like not a hobby, but just do deals as I go and, make money and stuff like that, that's fine. Then people started referring me some people, but I just looked at it like, by the time I've spent 45 days with them and gone through, like you're saying, usually some kind of drama,
yeah.
I was over it. I'm just being honest. And I'm like, I don't know that I want a
Absolutely.
relationship with them after this. So I never followed up on a lot of these people,
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
saying.
yeah. No, it's totally true, right? Like, and that is a really, like, that is a mindset shift in itself, right? Like, moving from transactional, because you are deeply, deeply engaged with these people for 45 days. I always say it's like dating, like you're searching for the houses, and those are like your first couple dates where like you want to meet up every couple of days, right? And then after like 2 or 3 months of working with that person, you're like, oh, I'm starting to see the cracks in the foundation. And you're like, whew, I need a breather. Like we need to take a break. And thank goodness that break is here at the title company when we sign for papers at closing. So it's an intense 45 days. But when you shift from being transactional to being relationship based, that's where you can see that return business. That's where you see those referrals keep coming in. And you know what? There are a couple of people, like I'm a pretty personable person. I'm very relationship based. I put a lot of love into my past clients. I gotta tell you, there's been 1 or 2 this year that their numbers are gonna be like, I might just delete those numbers out of my phone. Like there's just 1 or 2 where you're like, you know what, I am sorry. We had a great 45 days of dating, and now it's time for you to go explore your options with other realtors that are not me next time. Sometimes you're just not a good fit. But for those ones you were a good fit with, that's where you follow up occasionally. So very, very true.
And Sharon said this yesterday, but last night I was reflecting about all the years, all the people and all the stuff that's happened. And it really is true that as you have these relationships with these people, not only do you see who they really are and they see who you are, but I mean, I had forgotten like the life events that I went through with these people.
Yeah,
And it was more than just selling a house, it was like,
it always is.
yeah, even like at even at the closing table. The one of them, had had a miscarriage that morning and the sadness of that and just, I don't know, just all that happened. I don't know why I'm saying it. I guess I just am reflecting now, on all this.
Yeah, and that's a huge aha, is like, even though we think that this is just a transaction, we walk through people's lives with them for 45 days pretty intimately. Like, when in a transaction, have you gone more than 2 or 3 days without talking to that client? I have family members I don't talk to as much as I talk to my clients. So for that short amount of intense time, you're their person. The 5 biggest stressors in life are getting married, having a baby, a death, a divorce, and purchasing or selling a home. It's one of the 5 biggest stressors. So when you are guiding someone, you're more than just their real estate agent who's writing up paperwork. You're their advisor. You are the person they look to when they don't know what they're doing. You're like, how long did it take us to figure out what we were doing on the real estate? Can you imagine just being a person out there buying a house with very little education about how this whole process works? We're living side by side with them, in an intimate relationship as their advisor beyond just really being the person who does paperwork.
Right.
If we're doing it right. And that gives us the right to say that we have a relationship with them. That gives us the opportunity to follow up with them and not be weird. That gives us so much information to be authentic when we make that phone call.
Right, because then they have their friends and family that are also giving them input saying, your realtor didn't tell you that, they're doing
Yeah.
this and doing that, so you're combating that constantly too,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah. Any other ahas from your potential opportunity? All right. So I think we actually covered this slide because we're going to our ahas. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the lead generation model. So it's kind of a funnel system. So just want to see what the next one is. So number one is prospecting and marketing leads that deliver prospecting and marketing are lead generation activities that deliver leads to your business. All right. So you're going to hear over and over today, throughout all of the night, throughout your entire career, that this is the single most important thing you'll do. It's the foundation, as we found out, for a potential $1 million business. But we gotta find some realtors to replace those contacts, but darn close. All right, so when it comes to prospecting and marketing, there are there's kind of two parts to this. Marketing is money intensive, it's passive, and it gives long-term results. So what are some things that you guys have been thinking about or doing in terms of marketing yourself to the greater masses to get word out there that you are in real estate and you are ready to do some deals?
So we were chatting about this yesterday, but my demographic is very trails and mountain oriented.
Yeah.
And so big listing that I have right now is coming from I coach Junior Nordic. And I also sponsor the Junior Nordic stuff, and I sponsor a lot of the Matzo Ski Club events and trail grooming and stuff like that. In the summertime, I also sponsor bike trails and maintenance and races and things like that.
Awesome. So it's tapping in to this community that you're deeply involved in and marketing to them, because those are your people that you have commonalities with them beyond just real estate.
Great.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else?
Where, when you go to those events, wear apparel that lets them know that you're a realtor, just like Ryan had said.
Yep, branded apparel. It's a great passive way to get your name out there. And right, like that doesn't feel weird. It's not like just going up to everyone you meet and being like, hi, I'm Julie's mom and I'm in real estate. Like it's a normal way to get that information out there without being salesy, without being pushy.
Do we have anything else we can wear, like, that sparks conversation besides like a name? Like a regular name badge? Do we have any like little pins, like the tie tack stuff?
What's your day job?
Okay, I'm just gonna say this now, this is my issue.
Yeah, let's talk it out.
Okay. Hopefully nobody's online from here, but anyway, I am a minister at church,
Oh, cool.
okay?
Good.
So this is a thing, okay?
Mhm.
Another reason why and I'm just saying it now, I don't wanna dominate all this, but I got a lot to say, obviously. I don't know what to do now, because I'm in this situation. So first off, I don't wanna use my influence in that way. I'm like praying for somebody, it's like, by the way, Okay, you know, if this happens, it's a strange combo. You know, being a minister and being a realtor, and it's weird in a way. So how am I going to, again, in our church, I'm not the main leader of the church. But we've been told, you know, do not use that in a way, you know, like soliciting your business. But I've never done it.
Yeah.
But now I feel like it's a really good to talk about it and let people know. But I don't wanna use that where I end up getting talked to, like, or people, even more importantly, people thinking, what is this? She's like this, but then she's also a salesperson.
So
What am I gonna do about this?
what if you know, when you're talking to the people, if you're in the church, right, and talking to them, they're like, hey, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? And you can say, oh, I'm just, say, I'm just getting back into real estate. You're not pushing anything.
Yeah.
It's not forced, you're just being on it.
Yeah, an opportunity to say, not rebranding, but letting people know, because it's always been on my car. Okay, so.
Yeah, I was
obvious
gonna say
it's on
car
my
is a
car.
good one, yeah.
But now I was just thinking, okay, how can I do this the right way? I can just casually, like you're saying, right, just say, hey, just wanted to let you know. Like people that I'm closer to in the church, I'm back in doing my real estate again. Right?
Get yourself a sweatshirt and wear it to the grave.
Right.
Lots of,
Yeah.
are you in, or do you follow like the Dave Ramsey stuff at all? Like lots of churches host that as like a learn to control your finances thing. It would be a very easy thing to host there and kind of like combine, very casually combine two things.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're coming from the contribution of like,
yeah,
people are terrible with money. That's a easy way.
yeah,
That also could reach beyond like your specific congregation. It could be, you know, if that is the host site, you could be
Like
bringing people
community.
in with the rest of the community as well, because it's not a super religious, it's like religious adjacent.
yeah,
So
that's
so
good.
that seems like an easy one.
Thank you, that's good. Thank you, and I'm not gonna just try to dominate all day.
No,
Cause
no.
I off my head off, not wanna do that.
Listen, these real life conversations are 100% always more important than the slides, because if you're thinking it, someone else has thought it too. And maybe their situation's a little bit different. They're like, how do I talk about it with, when I'm at the wrestling match with another parent? And that's how you say, like, man, I just closed an amazing deal with these fabulous clients. Oh, you didn't know I got back into real estate? And that's really you just sharing authentically who you are. If it comes from a place of authenticity, it's very rarely gonna bite you in the butt. Now, if you're just like going around and you're, you know, in the middle of a prayer service handing out your postcards with your contact information, that's not gonna work. But if people truly ask about you and what you've been doing, and that's something that you truly are proud of, why not share that?
Yeah,
You know?
that's
And
good.
that's not pushy, that's you being vulnerable. Which, gosh, I mean, Brene Brown wrote like 7 books on it, so we all need a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
Here's another hint
That's
for
good.
something like that of bringing up the conversation. Let them bring up the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm so exhausted. Been working my ass off this week. It's so nice to be hanging out in church with all you guys.
say it like that.
Right, go to a different type of church.
I'm praying for Brian.
But, you know, that's what I mean, like, just, you wanna allow them the opportunity to ask the question. Right, instead of saying, hi, I'm a realtor, give them a reason to ask you, you know. Whew, you know, it's nice, you know, this is the only day I take off because the church is important to me. You know, other than that, I'm working 7 days a week. I leave church, you know, depending on your church, some churches, you're not allowed to work on Sundays, so be cautious with how that stuff works, but. You know, man, I've been working night and day, every day. It's really nice to be in church where I can turn my phone off and not think about work. You know what
That's
they're gonna say? You know what they're gonna say?
What are you doing?
What do you do?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm a realtor, and so I'm usually showing houses and stuff like that. Oh, you're a realtor?
yeah,
Wow, that's great. right? So learning how to allow them to start the conversation takes away a lot of the weird salesy part of it.
That's so good. And using this, because here I'm gone for 2 weeks,
Uh-huh.
you know, and very good. Yes, now I can just say, oh my
Man.
gosh.
I've been exhausted.
And I
I'm
have.
in this crazy class all day and I'm learning how to really step my business game up. You know, it's been a great class and they don't know anything about it. And
What kind of business are you?
Yeah, what
yeah,
is it?
what kind of class are you taking? Oh, I'm taking this class called Ignite and it helps me with, building my business and it really gets me in the mood of lead generating and just start talking about it. And then they'll just be like, well, what do you do? What do you do? And
Thank
if
you.
they ask you,
I feel
what
so
do you
free
do?
from this now.
If they ask you, what do you do? They want to know,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're not pushing it on to them,
Yeah.
right? Whew, almost didn't make it to this hockey game today. Man, I love being at hockey. Why in the world did you miss hockey? Well, because I was just showing
Cause
houses.
I was at church.
Yeah, for sure,
Right,
right?
Brian?
Right? Giving them the opportunity to ask you what you do
Yeah.
is the best way to get into their world and let them know what you're doing.
That's so good. Thank
Or-
you.
Just simply say, what do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're always gonna ask you back.
It's nice to meet you,
Yeah.
like, it's great, like.
They might not in that
Unless they're
application.
totally.
I think if they assume you're like
Yeah.
110%, that's all you, I don't think what else is a common, so that's a tricky one.
But you know what I mean, though, like, asking them about themselves leads into them asking about you,
That's so true.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, problem solved. 'Cause
yeah,
this has been going through my brain forever.
yeah. So how do you start, how do you start an awkward
Let it
conversation?
go.
The question is, how do you start an awkward conversation? Don't start it. Let them start it.
That's very good.
Man, I don't know how you happen, I see you here at every single practice. I don't know how you can manage to be at every single one. I'm so busy, I'm not able to be at all of them. Oh, well, why not? What do you do?
Right.
I show houses, I do this, I do that, so allow them to start a conversation, make it easy on yourself.
So good. Thank you, family.
So a lot of the things that we think of as traditional marketing, they tend to be a little bit more passive. Where prospecting is a little bit more intensive, it's a little more active. So, those things are usually low cost, but higher effort. So those are the things like picking up the phone, giving an old friend a call, reaching out, following up with those people, seeing how they like the house. Especially if it's been 8 years, because chances are statistically they are ready to move. So, it's a combination of both passively and then very actively marketing. And that active prospecting, that helps you get those leads that you can then put in your database that you can then follow up with. Because if you don't have anyone in your database, and it doesn't matter what database you use, Command is a great option for people who use that. I personally don't use Command, but I have a database. I track every phone call, every text, my notes about the conversation on there, because how do you remember 1,000 people and everything about them? Like, I have a pretty good memory, but like, I'm turning 45 in August. Like, it is not as good as it once was. I need those notes. And sometimes I fumble and I'm like, oh, hey, it's Melissa. And I'm like looking it up and I'm like, oh, how'd the surgery with your dog buddy go? Like takes me a second, but there's always that hello time to give us a chance to figure out what we're gonna say next and how we're gonna connect. And those relationships tend to bear fruit a lot quicker than some of the passive things that we do. All right. One other thing that we haven't talked about, that really, they put it in the marketing category, but I think it could actually be prospecting. I think this is one of those tools that's a real crossover, is social media. And I'd love for people on Zoom to jump in too. How have you guys leveraged social media as part of your prospecting or marketing?
Oh, for me, since I'm in the military community,
Ooh,
you can hop
huge.
onto the other, different place, different.
The different groups?
posts. Yeah, like the wives post and they're
Mhm.
always, I'm moving to a J-Berry, I need this, should I live on post, should I not? So that's a great resource to be like, hey.
Yeah. I literally have 4 military clients who are moving up in October because military clients know how to plan. They have been through this moving thing before. So like, where a regular client who wants to move in October is calling me in August. I have 4 people that we are actively looking now, and I'm their eyes and ears on the ground. So PCS season is happening. Great way to capitalize is on different groups, especially if you have access to military groups. An amazing tool and resource. What else? Anyone online utilizing social media?
I do, but sometimes I get a little lazy or sleepy with it. But yesterday after Helen's chat kind of like re-inspired me to try to do that like daily posting and liking and commenting.
Awesome. And Holland, are you posting about real estate? Are you posting about personal stuff?
Kind of both. I started
Awesome.
a business page, but I kind of abandoned it. So that's just floating out there. But my personal page, I do a lot of both, just like whatever family activities and adventures we're up to. And then it's just kind of peppered in there with like, congratulations to my buyers or, new listing, kind of stuff like that.
That's awesome. Anyone else? So, yeah.
So I'm using, I primarily use Instagram.
Mhm.
And then I have it linked to Facebook, so the Facebook page isn't super
So
active.
easy.
My Instagram does a lot more, and I've gotten complete randos, like an out-of-state person was following me somehow and just reached out and was like, hey, I got this new great job in Anchorage. I need a $750,000 house.
Yeah.
Just
And
like
that-
that, and we closed it within a couple weeks.
Yeah, there was
Or
probably
couple
no
months.
other way that you could have captured that out-of-state client with your traditional marketing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
So I just did a whole 2-week series where because I've been a buyer specialist, and I realized that like, there's such a lack of education about what the process looks like. And I'm very like, when I moved to Alaska, within 10 days, I was like, this is where I live forever. Like I knew. So I'm very Alaskan. So I simply like put together a 14-day series that was it was a little video each day that talked about, this is step 1 of the process, a buyer's consultation. This is step 2, getting pre-qualified. And just had ChatGPT write me a social media post. And of course I edited it to be me. And then every day I posted a step. And the first day, I think I had like 250 views, which is like more than any open house I've ever posted on there. And, by day 14, it kind of went down a little bit, but it's also a resource now that I can send new clients to, and I can say, hey, we're gonna do a buyer's consultation, but if you want like a sneak peek, check out my Instagram. And then now I have this series that I can refer people to that they can watch late at night when they're in bed and they can't sleep and they're looking on Zillow and they want to know about the process. That is a contribution to them to help the process feel a little bit more accessible. Meaty chunks, like don't overwhelm people, give them tips, give them tricks, let them know about your life. They want to know about you. They're not hiring, people hire people they like. So they want to know that you're a real person just like them, that you're not just like, I am a contract writer for real estate. Like, they want to know you. All right. So what do you do with those people once you've connected with them? You put them into a database. It is so, like I said, it doesn't matter what database you use, you have commands there for you. So if you do not have a database, absolutely use that free tool, because let me tell you, I just saw Taylor Holyfield was like, I saw him post on the KWAG page and he was like, I wrote down batting cage guy. I know this guy is $1 million buyer. I cannot remember his name and I cannot remember his number. I just have a note that says batting cage guy. I never want to be in that position. Have I been in that position? Absolutely. We all will be. We all will have a post-it note, a napkin with a phone number, no name. You know, we'll all be there, but we can avoid that by putting them into a database, putting in some notes. It takes a couple extra seconds. It will save your butt 100 times over. And then once they're in your database, that's that lead, then you can form a relationship. You can give them a call. You can say, hey, I just want to check in. I want to see if you're still looking for a house. If you are, I'd love to help. If you're not, I don't want to bug you too much, but I'm always here as a resource. Like it can be as simple as that. And then they may build their whole life and say, okay, I've got 6 kids. I need at least a 5-bedroom. These 2 kids are going to bunk up together. They will start, if they are looking, they will just tell you everything you need. Let them talk and then ask them more questions, because all of the information will come out. And that's how you turn them into a contact, which is a strengthened relationship.
Can I comment on that too?
Of course.
Again, just thinking back, always take people seriously too.
Mhm.
Because I didn't, like on a couple people, I thought, nah, yeah, you know, when people throw it out to you like, hey, keep on the lookout for a 3-bedroom for me, you know, whatever, and I'm like, yeah.
You're
It's-
lucky, Lou.
Yeah, yeah, it's whatever, okay, and this was when I was actually out of state, you know, hey, I'm interested in Alaska, blah, I thought, okay. And they moved here, and I ended up seeing them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you did move up here, you know, and I said something about, oh yeah, who did who helped you buy your house or something like that? I don't remember. And they said, oh, just the first one. I called 10 realtors and I used the first one that called me back.
Also, just always pick up your phone.
Right.
Like, even if you think it's a spam call, because everyone's a spam call. I've called too many people. I'm a spam caller now too.
Does
So,
your phone number show up as potential spam?
oh yeah, I'm working on figuring out how to do that. Doesn't matter, doesn't stop me. I still make 50 to 100 calls a day because I have a conversation with at least one person a day who is buying a house. So just pick up your phone because that's all people want. The first person they can get in touch with
Yeah.
is who they're gonna use. I think NAR said it's 78% of people use the first real estate agent they talk to.
Yeah, and
Answer your phone.
I looked up their house and they bought a $500,000 house. So that's why I never forgot that, but one thing too, what do you have on your outgoing, like your message? Do you say like your name and, you know, are you saying all that?
Yeah, I say, hey, you've reached Melissa with the Dar Walden team at Keller Williams. I'm unavailable at the moment. But leave your number and I'll give you a call back. But the best thing you can do is, unless you're viably unavailable, is just answer your phone, right? Like, we make a lot of calls to people. We know how to politely get off the phone with the people we don't want to be talking to. So there's really no harm in picking up, but there's $500,000 on the line for not picking up.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely always pick up. The difference, will someone read what a lead is and then someone read what a contact is, so we know the slight nuance of the differences?
Okay, I'll read the leads. People who you have earned the right to at least have one-way conversation with.
So a lead is someone who you made a connection, you may be communicating with them, they've, given you permission to have their number for some reason, but maybe they haven't quite connected back. It's not a 2-way conversation yet. And then a contact is a person that you've held a two-way conversation with, whom you're building an established value-based relationship. So they start off as a lead, and as you foster that relationship, then they turn into a contact. And then you can start converting those contacts. So what does converting a contact even mean? What does that mean to you guys? I'm sure you've heard it.
Converting them from just somebody you talk to into a client.
Yep. So converting them from someone you talk to into a client, that could be buying, that could be selling, someone investing, someone doing all three. So once you kind of, establish that you guys want to work together, whether that looks like a listing appointment, a buyer's consultation, they have engaged, and you now have made an appointment with them, whether it's phone, whether it's in person, to talk, get down and dirty about real estate. All right. Types of communication. So there's several different types of communication: phone call, email, text message, face-to-face. You've got the KW app, and you've got handwritten communication, which is going out of fashion. However, is one of the most unique ways to get people's attention. Which one of these types of communication do you think is the most important?
Phone.
Phone,
Face to face.
face-to-face. Anyone on Zoom? My Zoom people, which form of communication do you think is the most important?
Probably phone call. My office does a lot of handwritten communication though, and that seems to be kind of
I love that.
yeah.
When I worked at Coach for 12 years as a store manager and in their corporate offices. Every single person who made a purchase over $250 got a handwritten note from me. And I had people, dozens of people come back and say, I got this handwritten note. I haven't gotten a handwritten note since my grandma sent me a birthday card, and they brought that note back, and it meant something because it took extra time in this world of digital communication where everything is instant.
Love it.
What else? What else do we think is the most important? So it's kind of a trick question. The best form of communication is the communication the way that the client wants to be communicated with. So, if they're a texter, communicate with them via text. If they like a phone call, give them a call. Find out what their preferred communication is. And then also it depends on the information. If I have, if I'm just setting up a time for a showing, a text might be appropriate. If we're talking about a negotiation of repairs, we're going to probably have a series of phone calls. But for day-to-day communication in my buyer's consult, I ask how people prefer to be communicated with. Some people have jobs where they can't pick up the phone 9 to 5. So me knowing that I need to tailor that to be a text so they can get it, or I can say, hey, here's an update, but please call me when it's convenient for you. Any communication that works, any communication that gets them into a two-way conversation is the best communication. I know, like, for me, like face-to-face, if I get in front of someone, I'm generally going to be able to convert them because I have worked really hard at building relationships over the years. So I know that that's an effective one, but for them, if doing everything via text is what they're comfortable with, I'm going to lean towards that, and then I'm going to tailor the communication to the right communication for the task at hand. All right, So once we've converted them, we've turned them into a client, we always ask them for referrals. There was a gal in Ignite who gave me a great piece of information when I took this class 4 years ago. And she said that when she is at the title company, she would sit down and jokingly tell her clients, well, we got to the end of the transaction and now I'm unemployed. So who else do you know that I can help? Because now that I did such a great job for you, I gotta find a new job. So do you have anyone who's looking? And I was like, that is hysterical. That is like, it was very authentic to her personality. And maybe I would say it or do it a little bit differently, but I thought that was a great tip. Like, she got them to giggle by saying that they put her out of work. And now they feel like, oh man, I put you out of work. Like, I feel somehow, like obligated to help you find your next client. And then you get the new person, you put them to the top and you keep going. And lead generation, it never ends. It's a funnel. It's a cycle. It works best when you time block it and you determine the size of your business via generating. If you want more business, you're going to generate more. If you want to slow down, you might take a purposeful break and slow down your generating for one reason or another. This doesn't go super into it, but it may be in your like one of your next segments, but stay in touch with past clients. If you guys ever, like at the end of this, if you ever want to talk about how to do that, that is literally my favorite thing in the world is Popeyes and loving on my clients. So one of the things that I did this year, I was like, I usually do something around Valentine's Day, like make them a little Valentine's Day candies and say like, will you give me some love? Can you write me a Google review? Or if you know anyone, refer them to me. But this year, Valentine's Day got crazy, couldn't do it. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I need something authentic. I need something like I'm all about the like come from contribution. And I was like, we've got a volcano that is about to erupt. So I was in my bed on Amazon and I got N95 masks. I got little rolls of masking tape and little mini flashlights. And I made 35 kits and dropped them off to my best clients and said, here's your volcano emergency kit. I mean, maybe it cost me $5 a kit. I put a little postcard with tips of how to protect your home. And then I also use that as turn it into a PDF. And the ones who weren't on my like upper always send me referrals, I just simply text them like, hey, the volcanoes kind of got everyone a little up in arms. Here's some good tips on how to protect your home.
Wow.
And that was free. I did, that part I did on Canva. So, there are ways to communicate with your past leads or just people that like your friends and family, like who wouldn't want some tips on how to handle the volcano?
Yeah.
Now let's kind of chill down a little bit. So I have to wait for it to flare back up so I can do the rest of my deliveries, but I'll bring in my bag to show you. What other ahas did you guys have about lead generation and the funnel? Anything from Zoom land? I think somebody's talking, but we can't hear you. All right. Unmute yourself and we'll try again. All right. So your sphere of influence, who the heck are they? They're literally anyone you come into contact with, but mostly they're the people that you have some type of connection with, that you have a reason to have a conversation with, whether that conversation is about real estate or not. So ideas are immediate family, your friends, your relatives, neighbors, past coworkers. Any hobby groups like Nordic, skiing, church, it could be a variety of groups. Teachers, your kids' teachers, your grandkids' teachers, worship, clubs, volunteering, also professional services. So who is your dentist? Who is your doctor? Who, anyone that you use, like who's your plumber? That is someone you should definitely be talking to, because if you went to a house and they're like, we're sick of fixing all these pipes, we want to move. You want him to call you and say,
yeah.
hey, I have this client who's thinking about moving. I gave them your phone number. So any service that you use, financial and legal services, and any personal services. So categorizing your sphere of influence, building your SOI day by day. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So with that said, who is someone who you may not traditionally think of as your SOI, who you could possibly add to your database today? And it could just be someone who's in those contacts in your phone.
So an interesting one, Cody Morey actually turned me onto this. I started buying coffee for the daycare workers where my kid goes to daycare at the time.
That's
And
awesome.
we just get the big, whatever, half gallon or gallon of coffee from Fly Brothers. And so my son and I would go, we'd get coffee first thing in the morning, we'd grab coffee, we'd take it in for all the teachers. I got a parent of the teacher, I got a sister of another teacher. I'm working on $1 million commercial deal from another parent. I'm pending a grandparent's house right now. I haven't spent more than, over years, I probably haven't spent more than $500 in coffee, probably even less than that, probably like 250. And I've done.
That was 4, at least.
I think I've done 5 deals out of that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And yeah, I'm pending one that's like 900, almost $1 million right now, so.
Return on investment.
Super easy, and it's like, takes no time. I would staple my business card to it, drop it off. They were jazzed. I wear a hat around, so anybody that I bump into is, yeah, super easy. But I did not see that coming at all, and I block out more time on the calendar for pickup and drop off, because people always want to chat. You just don't be in a hurry. Takes 5 minutes extra.
And how long was it before you saw the payoff?
It was probably 6 months, 8
Yeah.
months maybe.
So, and that's an important thing, is consistency, right? Like we're talking about having these leads, following up with them consistently. If you would have done that once or twice and given up.
Yeah.
Maybe there wouldn't have been anything, but we're all doing this so that we can create more financial freedom for ourselves, so we can create the life we want. And that's gonna take time. So don't give up too soon. Just keep investing. Consistency over time has earned, a whole lot more than $500 worth of coffee.
How often did you say you did it?
So my son at the time turned to like 3 and got really into, at Pilates, they'll do steamed milk with whipped
Yeah.
cream and sprinkles for the kids. And so I'd go get a coffee, he'd get a coffee, we made just a morning of it, and then we would do it like, I think we were doing, he's gotten older and now goes to a different thing, but I think we did it the first Monday of every month. So
Nice.
like, the theory was after the long weekend, your Monday, I could not actually do it every Monday, so we just picked the first Monday.
Wow.
And
That's only once a month even.
once a month, super easy. And then I was hanging out with my kid anyway, so we'd wake up an hour earlier, we'd go, it was great. He looked forward to it, and it was super easy. And then it's a business write-off too. So
Mhm.
our coffee, it's all on the business card. It's all a tax write-off, and just stapled my card to it, and that's all it was.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That's a great idea.
That's a fabulous idea.
I have something kind of cool along those lines that I've started doing after
Awesome.
after an open house. I usually have like a dozen gourmet donuts left over, so I'll take them and I'll throw my business cards in there and then drop it off at an establishment or like the company that does my embroidery for my jackets and stuff. And so it's kind of a good way to get rid of your donuts and kind of share.
I love that.
That's
Like,
great.
not only is it like recycling and giving back to the community, but it's also a great way to get your name out there by taking those leftover donuts somewhere.
You guys know, Eric Christensen? He's a State Farm insurance guy in Palmer.
Okay.
And yeah, so he just I think it's every Friday, he just buys pizza for a different local business and goes and takes pictures of it, puts it on social media, and everybody loves him. And people don't know his name. They know him as like the insurance pizza guy. And all the time, like he gets business for all kinds of different, like tons of my clients have used him for homeowners insurance just because they're like, oh yeah, pizza guy.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Yeah, there was somebody I know that used to always make cookies and take them to like the loan originators and stuff like that. Are people still doing that?
We still
Going
get,
in
we still
to
get
like
donuts for, like,
yeah.
every
Yeah.
Friday or something.
bringing them in to different, whatever, like residential or wherever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, building those like peer relationships in the business too. Like that might end up in a referral. They might think of you.
You know who did it? And they're in Keller, Wayne. Remember Wayne Salmons?
I don't think I'm not.
I think he went to Texas or whatever, but anyway, he did that when a lot of other people weren't doing it. He would just go in to all the banks and just every week, bring those cookies, and they used him all the time.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
People use people they know. And, bringing people treats is a great way for them to get to know you. Like, they're definitely gonna think of you as the hero if you bring coffee, if you bring cookies, if you
Uh-huh.
bring donuts. No one's ever gonna be mad at receiving any of that. No one's gonna turn you away. They're gonna be there with welcome arms to accept those gifts. All right, any other ahas or ideas around how to connect with people that you might not normally think of as your SOI? Cool. All right, so I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes to think about your SOI, and I want you to think about I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to go through your day yesterday, from the time you woke up, through your morning, through lunch, through the evening, and all the different people that you interacted with. I'll give you like a minute or two longer. You can jot it down. You can just take a mental note. Okay, in that list, I want you just to identify one person that should be in your database. Even if you only just have their name for now, just think about one person that you can start to build a relationship with that would make sense to follow up with, whether it's 3 weeks down the line, 3 months, 3 years, someone that you interact with who probably you should be tracking those interactions with. Gosh, I just lost my train of thought, but it's gonna come back. So, I was gonna ask, so this is where I was going. What are some ways, because we may know people by faces, we might have their phone number, but we may not have all of the information. When we're looking for information, we probably, to have a really good, complete, solid contact would be their name, their email, their phone number, their address. What are some unique ways that we can get some of that information from people that are not salesy, that are low pressure, that are coming from contribution?
So for my kids have summer birthdays, a couple of them. So at the end of the school year, hey, I wanna send out invitations.
Yep,
uh,
birthday
I want to do a
invitations.
Christmas card
Mhm.
from-
Yeah. Christmas card is like gold. Like everyone should take out their phone right now and put a reminder for September 15th to do like a big social media reach out, to text their friends. Hey, can I get your address for my Christmas card list? I'm starting early. People love Christmas cards. They will absolutely give you their address. Someone has a birthday coming up. You can say, hey, what's your, you can invite them to a party. You can also send them a handwritten birthday card. A pack of birthday cards, leave them in your desk. Buy the stamps up front, because if I don't buy the stamps, then I don't want to go to the mailbox to get, I don't want to go to USPS to get them. So just have it ready, give it to Coco, she'll get it mailed out. Ask them for their information, because you're contributing something to them. Any other ideas on how to capture people's information to get a full and complete contact?
Okay, so if you send a Christmas card, are you putting your business card in it?
Great. So what I do is I do a double-sided Christmas card. And I have one side that's got me, my partner Jim, and our dog. And I say, Missy and Jim are wishing you a happy birthday, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever. And then on the back side, I have either like a picture of just me or my headshot. And then I have my business information on the back side. So that it's like, I can send it out to everyone and people get it. They're like, oh, she's in real estate, so she can use this for, like, no one has been like, I was so offended that the backside had it. So I had like my family on one side and then my business information on the backside. You could just simply put a card in there as well, but yeah, if I can double up and make something work for two reasons, why the heck not?
Yeah, I like that idea better too, because it's not so salesy
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, and I
Just-
always put, when I put it in there, I always slip it, so when they pull it out, they see the personal side first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, super strategic about that.
But it just becomes like, well, that's just who you are.
Yeah.
But you're not trying to solicit me.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I just want a reason to send out some Christmas cards, and I just love getting Christmas cards back, so I'm like, if I send them one, they're gonna send me a cute one to their family too, and I'm gonna hang it up, and that's gonna be my Christmas decorations. Any other Zoom ideas on how to get more complete contacts?
I made a like a text that I send out to my contacts that was like, hey, just moved back to Alaska. I've been home for 6 months now. I'd love to send you cute postcards on occasion. Can I have your mailing address? Kind of like a life update. And then that's been pretty
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, that's awesome, because you shared a bit about yourself and then you just asked, and by asking, they're giving you that permission to continue to communicate with them.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we kind of like talked about some of this stuff as well. Is another way to expand your SOI is to strengthen those casual connections. You're at a kid's game, instead of in between cheering, being on your phone, have that conversation with the mom or the dad sitting next to you. I practice my scripts. They're just conversations. I hate calling it scripts, but I practice conversations with the coffee girl every morning. She's like, oh, what are you up to today? And I'm like, oh, I see these open house signs in the back, I'm having an open house at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is just great scripting practice. This is a person who is a kind person that I can practice saying things on. She really does want to know about my life, and then I ask her about hers. So those casual conversations, they help build not only your confidence, but who knows, maybe someday she'll be like, I want to buy a house, and maybe she'll think of me.
The coffee, we don't use disposable cups, my wife and I, and the coffee
Love
cup
that.
girls always mention real estate.
Yeah,
Every
So-
single time.
he's got a branded coffee cup that he brings with him, and I am now going to start doing that. That is genius. That is a very easy, subtle way to expand those casual relationships.
All the time, like even, so I sat next to Zoe in the meeting and she commented on it, like,
Yeah.
it's. People look at these things more often than I was wearing one of the big things that got me to spend a bunch of money on branding stuff. I was wearing a non-common European branded jacket, and the company is rad and nobody's ever heard of it. And multiple people commented on it thinking it was a small local company. They're like, oh, cool, where's your company based? I'm like, no, it's a clothing company. But it got me thinking, like, everybody is reading those kind of things, and so I've got jackets that now have logos, hats and mugs, and people commented on them all the time.
So like you're going through your coffee line or whatever, and then you ask them to put coffee in that?
Yeah, so instead of just getting, like, if you go out, and I meet clients all the time at coffee shops, to discuss whatever. And, yeah, they're just like, take the lid off, they'll fill it up, make your coffee of choice, and then they'll call out your name, and sometimes they'll yell out Matt Lemons Realty, and to the whole
You're
coffee
like,
shop.
that's what
Like,
we
Thank you for your advertising.
guys. So, yeah,
Funny,
He's
And
got,
after a while, they'll
Matt's got
remember.
them doing the work for him.
yeah.
hilarious, but it's so smart.
And then I made it, so if you spend $5,000 at Yeti, they'll engrave them all for you, but, I give these to high, like, repeat referral clients and stuff, and then they do that at the coffee shop for them too.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I love how that's one way that you passively stay in touch with those clients,
Mhm.
because they're hearing that name get called at the coffee shop too when they fill up theirs.
Yep.
And not only is it the people around them, it's being top of mind with the people you already know. I love that. We also talked about this, join groups that will connect you with people of similar interests. I think we each have identified a couple of groups that we are in. And then, referrals, I do quarterly calls to my past clients, quarterly calls or a pop by. I try and kind of switch it up and do at least 2 pop bys a year to my top 50 clients. And just ask them, who do you know who's buying or selling or wanting to invest, and how can I help them? I had a great experience with you. I loved working with clients like you, and I know your friends are gonna be just as fun to help. So who can I help? All right. Gathering leads from your sphere of influence. These are a couple ideas on what to say. I'm building my business on people I know and the people they know. Do you know of do you know of anyone from friends or family, work, or your neighborhood or a group that you belong to who's thinking of buying and selling a home or investing in real estate? I'd be pleased to be a resource for them. If you hear of someone with real estate needs, will you keep me in mind and let me know right away? These are pretty basic. These are not bad by any means, but how would you say this in real life? Like, what would your voice sound like saying this to someone?
Like when you're talking to people, maybe like where you go, hey, by the way, if you know anyone.
Yeah,
by the way."
yeah, exactly. Like you put a little personality into it. Anyone on Zoom, how would you make this script sound more like you and more authentic? Anyone other than Holland who's been a rock star at answering on Zoom? Is there anyone left on Zoom? I don't even know. I hope you're there.
So I just talked to a buddy the other day too, and obviously most of my friends are, out of state, moving to Utah or Texas or something like that. So I just hit him up and was like, hey man, if you're buying a house down there, let me know so I can put the referral in because that's how I gets paid. So
Yep.
just play with them a little bit, just be real, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just talking to your buddy like you talk to the buddy. The more that you speak from yourself and your voice, the more it's gonna hit with them. Like people know, they know when you're being salesy. Like we can cut right through that. Be yourself. Make the ask in the way that makes sense for you. All right, any ahas? All right, I'll move on. We're getting towards the latter end. Lead gen best practices. Track your lead sources. So in addition to getting their information, where did you get them from? Did you get them from Zillow? Were they a past client? Were they a referral? Did you get them from church? Track that and do it consistently. If you start now and you track it till the end of the year, you can actually look at how many transactions you got from each area. And then you can determine where to put your energy because you'll know where they're coming from. If you're getting 1 or 2 clients from sending out postcards, but you're getting 6 from a club you're in, you're going to focus on nurturing that club and finding ways to connect with them because that's where your return on investment is. You're not trying to be everything to everyone. Find 2 or 3 sources that are your main areas and work on those with more intensity. Of course, still spread a wide net, but if these are the areas that are working for you, invest in those areas. And that's going to be different for everyone, but you won't know that unless you track your source. Audit your lead sources. Diversify, be willing to step out of your comfort zone, work with different groups, different areas that maybe you wouldn't normally tap into. See how that works. See if you're a good fit. There might be something out there that, a group or a resource that you haven't thought about before. Take a risk, test it, see if it works. If it does, keep going. If it doesn't, figure out what you learned from it and apply it to your other leads. And then be consistent. You should always time block your lead generation time. I have a time block from 10 to 12 every day that I use for lead generation. I'm gonna be real. Sometimes things happen in real estate between 10 and 12 that I have to deal with, and that's okay. But I've made a commitment to myself this year that I am going to be consistent about calls. I've made 2,500 calls this year so far, which is half my goal, and we're not even into June yet, so I'm above my goal. So sometimes what that means is I deal with the title issue. I find the structural engineer. I do what I need to do during that lead gen time, but then I stay in the office until I hit at least 50 calls. And sometimes that time moves from 3 to 5. So I made the commitment to myself. So if I can't do it during my time block, I move that time block before I go home. And then when I go home, I take a deep breath. And I'd love to say I don't do any real estate, but we know that's not how it works. I do the 1 or 2 calls, but I don't feel like I have that goal that I committed to myself and to my team hanging over my head. But there are some good tips in here about how to protect your time, which you try and do as much as you can. And that is build a bunker. Figure out how to get rid of outside distractions, whether that's finding the right place to make your calls or to send out social media messages to people, whatever your lead generation looks like. Build that bunker, find a room, find a quiet space, find whatever you need for that hour, that 2 hours a day that you're committing. Store provisions. Before you start, get your water, get yourself a snack, do whatever you can do to stay in that space. Because once you break your flow, they say that some people say it takes 90 seconds to get back into your flow.
Oh,
And there's like 128 distractions a day. I don't know who can get back in their flow in 90 seconds, but I want them to teach me because it takes me, if I break my flow, we're talking like 5 to 20 minutes before I'm getting back in. So store those provisions, have your water, have your snacks. Your voice gets a little, little cranky after a while. So have your coffee, whatever you need to set yourself up for success. Sweep for mind. What are the things that are going to distract you? It took a long time. I now close down my email during lead generation time, and I do not check it until I hit that 50 mark. At 50, then I might do a quick check, make sure there's nothing time sensitive, and then I get back into the flow. And then enlist support. So, at the Darwalden team, like I have a shared desk with my desk mate Kirsten. And like, when we need to get down to business, we tell each other like, all right, I'm making calls because we're real chatty Cathy's. We love a little gossip. We love to spill the tea because everybody needs that in their day. But when we're getting down to business, we're like, okay, I'm making calls. I'm like, okay, I'm making calls. So we'll put in our headphones and we'll just go hard. And we use each other as accountability partners. So let someone know, like, I'm gonna be doing this for the next couple of hours. If you see me come out, encourage me to go back in or whatever it is, like, can you take care of this task for me if you have an admin so that I can focus on this? Whatever it is you need, enlist support if you can get it. Any ahas or minds that pop up for you or things you need to push out of your bunker?
Funny that you mentioned like creating a bunker in itself because I have 5 kids.
yeah.
6 years old to 19.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it doesn't like I'll lock myself in my room. Mommy, she's fighting with me. And I know if I leave that room, each one of them is gonna
Yep.
come at me and I am never gonna get back in there.
So your average distractions of 128 went up to like 600
Yeah.
at least,
Yeah.
like in an hour.
Yeah. So I have to leave the house. You guys are in charge. Don't kill each other. Don't call me. Don't leave the house. I just have to get out.
That's your bunker. Yeah. Anyone else have any good tips for setting up your provisions, creating your bunker, getting those mines out of the way? Do I still have Tara or Toby on Zoom? Ooh, they work in my office.
Out and clear.
I'll be asking them for their recaps tomorrow. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
You get to hear us make our calls.
All right, so ahas to achievement. How has it, and anyone can just yell out, what about your thinking might have changed today? Are there any new mindsets that have popped up?
Just being more creative about getting your name out there casually,
Mhm.
right? To get referrals.
Yeah. Is there anything you feel differently about or anything that was super meaningful today?
I do. I appreciate everybody's input because now I feel free from that mindset of like, how am I gonna say this? How am I gonna do this without coming off with wrong intention or whatever? No,
Yeah.
so
That's huge. That should really be
that's a big deal.
celebrated.
Yes, because I didn't realize all these mindsets that I have, these limiting mindsets
Mhm.
until. That's another good thing about Keller that's different than any other place I've ever been. Is this is the first time I feel like I'm getting, this is terrible to say this, but it's the first time I feel like I'm getting support and training.
Yeah.
I've had to swim for all these years because anyway, that's one other thing that.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's what drew me here. That's what keeps me here. What would you do differently going forward? What's an action that you might take differently?
I'm gonna talk to more people. I'm usually really and quiet until, you know, you get to know me. I always wait for somebody to come talk to me to make an effort to put myself out there.
Awesome.
When it, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
When it says, what do you feel differently about? I've been trying to change the mindset of lead genning from being like something I have to do to a tool that I'm utilizing to create my business and not just a task. It's more like, you know, something that's benefiting and really helpful and a tool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Which is leads me into the last question. What tools or models or systems are you going to use?
Well, I'm excited to, first off, find out if I'm even on command. And then,
And then use it.
and then I'm actually gonna try to learn how to use it. And all the things that it'll do to make my life easier.
A well-used database works for you. You don't work for it.
Oh, I'll send your email.
I don't know, as weird as that sounds, because. I let,
Yeah.
They can have
We'll work on
my
it.
information for that via email. So
yeah,
I could just click on it and there's a whole tutorial and walk you through everything.
So I'm gonna share with you guys, so if you haven't heard of Bold already, you'll probably hear about Bold. It is a 7 to 8 week class that kind of like changed it up a little bit, so but it's a great class and it talks a lot about mindset and it gets you out of your box, it gets you trying new things. And one of the things that we do is called a Bold 100, where you have to make 100 contacts in one day. Not 100 calls, you have to have 100 real estate related conversations. And I'm like, I'm an overachiever, I'm a go-getter. And I was like, there's literally no way to do this. And people are like, I did my Bold 100 this week. And I'm like, that person is a liar. How did they do that? It is impossible. I was like, this is not right. So I got all fired up and I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. And my amazing Bold coach was like, you know, like I was at a basketball tournament this weekend and I had 100 conversations at a basketball tournament. Find what you love and have your conversations there. And something snapped at me and we all live out in the valley, right? So you guys know about the vintage market that they have twice a year. And I was like, I love to shop. I love everything local. That's like who I am. That's my shtick. I love local businesses. So I went to Costco. I got hot chocolate packets. I got Schufa waffles. I made little goodie bags for all the vendors. I put my card in and I went up and I was like, today is my I'm doing 100 acts of kindness. I'm a realtor in the valley, but I'm just doing this because I've been a vendor before. I know what it's like to get stuck back there. And I want to give you guys a little snack to enjoy after the market. And I consistently do that now every year where this year I did Nutella and pretzel sticks for them. That was a big hit. You know, and it's a couple dollars a bag, but it's a good way for me to get my name out there. And it's also like, it makes me feel like I'm giving back to this community that I believe in. Now I do a local gift guide every year and I reach out to local businesses that I love and I feature them on my Facebook and I say like, consider shopping local this year. And that's like an untraditional thing that was bred out of me being like, there's no way these people made 100 contacts. And then I was like, oh shoot, you can do 100 contacts, but you just gotta get creative. And you gotta find your people, you gotta find your community, and you gotta make it authentic to you. So what other questions do you guys have before we break for lunch?
did you, after you do those things repetitively, have you, I mean, obviously you've had clientele from that, right? People have.
I have to be honest, it has that particular thing has been like, I haven't seen, like maybe a little bit. I've gotten one or two. I haven't seen the fruits fully pay off yet. But like now I've created relationships with those people.
Right.
So when I go back to the markets, they know me so that when they're ready, I'll be there. So like, that's one of those things that I'm like, I'm just being really consistent about doing it.
Or it only takes one, right? Like.
Yeah, it only-
with
yeah,
you
right?
right now,
Like,
you know,
like one client has already paid off the $100 that I
Right.
put into supplies to do these little things. And it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be expensive, it could be a free graphic about what to do if the volcano hits, what to do to protect your home. It's just thinking about like, what resource would I like, what information am I looking for? How do I share this with someone else? Yeah, it's being a good steward to other people. And when it comes from that place, it's not weird, it's not authentic, it's not inauthentic, it's not salesy. So, I don't know, lead generation, I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's a pain in the butt. I think it's how you approach it. And when you're coming from contribution, it's always a good conversation. And like, honestly, it's a game to me, right? Like if I don't get hung up on at least once a day, I feel like I'm not doing my job right. Like I'm not gonna be everything to everyone. And, you know, that's their loss. If they don't want to take this free resource that I'm giving them.
yeah, right.
Awesome. Anything to wrap up on Zoom? All right. Get out there and lead generate today.
You, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so, we're gonna break for lunch here for a minute, or actually, yeah, we probably have about 10 minutes. So if you guys on Zoom, if you guys wanna grab something to eat, we're gonna start back up here very, very shortly. I wanna introduce Christy Irwin with Stewart Title. And she so graciously sponsored lunch for us, and I think she's a great resource. You need to just listen to this lady.
Well, I don't have a lot to say, but other than short is the test. We have some of
They are.
the top-notch escrow officers. I mean, we really have a great staff with a lot of knowledge. I'm the marketing business person now, but I have 25 years of escrow knowledge behind me. So I'm always, if you can't get hold of your escrow officer, you can always call me. You can help. If I can't help, I can figure it out and get back to you. A lot of times faster than your escrow officer can, because these poor girls now, every day, I went to the office the other day and I was like, there's nowhere even to park. Here, but, yeah, we have good turn times. Great people, I mean, that's really all I can say, those two.
Yeah, they're wonderful. Actually, when you guys start to develop a relationship with a title person, they are your resource. And when I say title person, that guy's the escrow officer. So I've gone through several, and then when they have systems in place and you have that communication and build that relationship, it's so easy to reach out to them and, hey, I have a question about this, or where can you point me in this direction? And when you have that person who really helps you also look good at the closing table, and they make the process smooth and not awkward, or know how to handle, your clients, because you have so many people with so many different personalities. Find out who you click with, and who's a good resource, and then come to classes here too. When we have Stewart Title, they came recently. I use Sarah Python, and I love her team. I use them religiously. But they're a great resource. So we have classes, they offer CE education for us.
And we're doing a class here, I think, on the 3rd, seller care docs, is I believe are our topic. So, yeah, and I'm here to support them now. That's, my role is to support you guys and support my escrow officers. So, yeah, if there's anything you need, you can always get ahold of me.
Cool.
If you need something at night, I had a realtor call me last night, our online calculator wasn't working for some reason and she needed fees, and that's my role now, is if you need someone at 8 PM to run you some fees, I can help.
Gift cards.
I don't, but I can email you my information. I had, actually, they sent me cards and it had the wrong phone number on it.
Oh, wow. I wish I never did it.
So I would
Right.
rather you my information.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Arian.
Oh.
I've kind of been in the shadows, but then she's kind of. It's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our calls funds.
Yeah, right.
So we want 4 hours versus us.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
One more that we're gonna go show.
Thank you.
I think traffic call.
What do you, I got the pumps, they're excited about lead generating, so.
So.
Well, if you walk it down with some.
I don't mind it.
Okay, the politics, now we did.
I think. Just like if you eat 5 halves of a donut, it doesn't count.
That way they put pieces.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, you should eat slowly or in small bites. It's kind of the same. Can I keep going back?
Nick was talking about it, like, we have ladies that'll come back 15 times to the donuts, but they wanna take a little bit.
Right.
Tell them.
15.
Start walking here.
I mean.
We're guilty. We're still getting off slivers of the cookies from last week.
Really? They just don't make flour like they used to. Oh, I don't know.
Just look, you are in demand. So I need help.
Good.
Steve Leroy, Mills, and I'll give you your logins.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I think there's, this is the end of the one from
I have to go into something
this morning, and Coco knows how to pull up the right one.
You are in.
And that's all that I need to worry about, just a map. Okay, because I think that's part of it, for me too, is he sent me a few, I do remember a few emails that I was getting overwhelmed, like, how many is this gonna, and no, that's it, right? River Grand, yeah.
The document program? Well, that's the normal. And then what? If you want to use to.
He is like DocuSign and all that. in command or it's all in it? Okay. Yeah, I liked it when you said don't pay for it, because I always did, of course.
Yep. Once we get you guys all sit back down, I'm gonna introduce you to Nick. Six, you're in. Thank you, Coco. For everyone that's